Well, in all likelihood, yes, and when we do it, it will probably be right on the heels of this regular session. There is a revenue estimating conference meeting on May the 12th, and I've heard talk that they're going to recognize additional revenue that will eliminate the need for a second special session. I don't think there's any reason to believe that's going to happen. There might be a few additional dollars recognized, but not enough to close the $600 million gap that remains to the point where we can fashion a budget that I think responsibly funds critical priorities. And so I think we are likely to have another special session, and we'll do it right away after this session's over, so that we can get all the money we need to fund TOPS to keep our four safety net hospitals open that are currently not funded in the budget, and to hopefully reverse the cuts to higher education and K through 12 education as well.
What will be in your call? Will a gas tax be in there?
Well, I'm not likely to include a gas tax, Aaron. Let me tell you why. First of all, we need infrastructure development for transportation. There's no doubt about that. But every gas tax dollar in revenue has to go to the Transportation Trust Fund. Those dollars cannot be spent on TOPS, higher education, K through 12 education, or hospitals. And the most acute need we have right now is in those areas. And so it does, and there's a limited appetite, as you know, for new taxes. If we were to do something on the gas tax, then that's revenue we wouldn't seek elsewhere that could fix the most acute problem. And I believe 2017, when we have a fiscal session, we will have an opportunity to pursue something around the gas tax. And by the way, I'm hoping that in the regular session, the next special session, we first look at reducing giveaways, these tax credits, tax rebates that are costing too much.
But if we do have to bring in more money, what is number one on your list in terms of any kind of new revenues that you would put in your call?
You talking about as the way that I would raise it, or how I would spend it? I'm sorry.
The way you would raise what tax would you put in the call for the special session that you want lawmakers to look at?
Yeah, well, Aaron, I am not going to preempt the work that's being done by the task force that was created by House Concurrent Resolution 11 during the first special session. Negotiations with members of the legislature resulted in the creation of a task force to study long-term structural tax and budget reform. That task force is meeting, and they're going to give us a report, and it's led by Dr. Jim Richardson, the economist at LSU, but it's got a number of members on it, including some from the legislature, and we're asking them to give us a report early that can form the basis of the call. And I'm not going to preempt the work that they're doing. I will tell you that I don't believe they will have proposals that look markedly different from the sort of things that we had under consideration in the first special session, because we took the previous report that Dr. Richardson had done for the legislature and used that as a template. But I don't want to get out in front of them, and I'm not dodging the question. I believe we're going to have to look first at reducing tax giveaways, and then have to look at the corporate tax structure and make sure that we have some balance there. The one thing I can tell you we will not do, we are not going to raise the sales tax again.
Okay.
That's a regressive form of taxation. We've already hit the poor enough through that additional penny of sales tax.
Governor, pardon me, you said sort of in that answer toward the beginning, you said two magic words for a lot of people. You said tax reform.
Yes.
What kind of tax reform would you favor? Maybe redoing the state income tax, because we had talked about that during the campaign. Maybe more of a fair tax. What would you be in favor of if you had the magic button?
Well, it really no different than what I said during the campaign, and by the way, no different than what I proposed during the first special session. In order to reform the tax structure, I think we have to look at both the corporate and individual income tax, try to broaden the base and lower the rates. Now, the difficult part is we're one of only 3 states that has a deduction from state taxes for federal tax liability. And that deduction is in the Constitution, both for corporations and for individuals. There really is no effective way on the income taxes to broaden the base unless you first do away with that deduction. But by doing that, you can then lower the rates, and you end up with a system that is flatter and fairer. And I believe that's the direction we need to go. And in fact, that's what all of the studies show us. And so that would be part of long-term comprehensive tax reform as well. Doing something like, before we ever did the Stelly increase in income taxes, we had excess itemized deductions that were limited to 57.5%. Now, when we did Stelly, we took that down to 0. Well, we then repealed all the revenue enhancing portions of Stelly, and then took the excess itemized deductions to 100%. Mm-hmm. I think it makes sense to go back to that 50 to 57.5% range, which is where it was before we ever did Stelly, because it just seems like that's a natural place to go as well. And now I believe that the task force will make that recommendation, but I don't have it yet, and I really don't want to get too far out in front of them and preempt them. Because I want to have maximum support for a common approach.
I know you got to go. Why can't state agencies, why can't you say, cut 5%, everybody cut 5%, lawmakers don't have to have a special session? Why can't that be done?
Well, first of all, I personally believe that across the board cuts of the same percentage are the most irresponsible way to go because every agency is different and you got to prioritize them differently. Some have more ability to do that than others. The other thing is you can't get to $600 million in cuts with that kind of across the board cut, because what we have is a general fund problem, and so you can only cut general fund to respond to it. And that percentage across the board just doesn't get it done. And when you start making the cuts that you have to make, you end up somewhere where we are today, where we're cutting $50 million out of K through 12 public education, $46 million from higher education. We've got 4 safety net hospitals that are unfunded. We need $70 million just to put those back in the budget. We're $183 million short on TOPS. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. And Aaron, when you inherit the largest budget deficit in the state's history and you have a constitutional obligation to have a balanced budget, you can only do that in 2 or 3 ways. You can raise revenue, you can cut spending, or you can try to do a combination of both. I'm proposing a combination of both, and it's difficult. This is not where I wanted to be early on as governor, but it's where we are, and I'm determined to fix the problem.